This is my betta fish, Jeremy, or depending who you ask, Jeremy. He's the first thing I see when I come home.
Xin Jiao, Jeremy.
Bettas come from Asia. Jeremy is the only fish I have that's got a name. I've tried naming my other fish, but I just end up referring to them by what kind of fish they are. For whatever reason, Jeremy's name stuck. His name was suggested to me by someone who had a cartoon character named Jeremy in mind, but I was thinking of the Pearl Jam song. When you go to PetSmart, you'll typically see three types of bettas. Veiltails are the most popular. You'll also see crowntails and half moons, like Jeremy. There are some less common types you might see time to time or at a specialty aquarium store. Jeremy lives in a large vase beside my TV that I got at Walmart. The bamboo growing out of his home has almost reached my ceiling. Bettas need a heater, and keeping them in a bowl or small aquarium can be very tricky. I don't recommend it. A small volume of water can go bad very quickly. Jeremy has two friends, a golden mystery snail and a small shrimp that's very hard to film. The floating stuff on top of his water is a plant called Salvinia minima. It helps to keep his water in good condition. Even though I keep Jeremy's water in good condition, I often wonder how happy he is in such a small home. There isn't a whole lot of room for him to swim around in there. He looks absolutely amazing by my TV, but I often think about moving him to the 65-gallon. I've thought about keeping a large school of tiger barbs in the 65-gallon. They're very active and fun fish to watch, but they are known to be aggressive and nip fins. Jeremy is pretty much all fins, so that's not going to work out for him. I'll have to keep a different fish if I move Jeremy. It's a tough decision to make. Do you think I should move Jeremy to the 65-gallon? Let me know in the comments below. There's a lot of opinions about what fish can be kept with a betta, but it's well known that you should never keep two males in the same aquarium. A big worry with bettas is their aggression. They're commonly known as fighting fish after all. There's mixed opinions about keeping a guppy with a betta. Guppies' long fancy fins resemble a betta's and may cause aggression. I've seen guppies with bettas, and I've even tried it myself and had no problems, but you should have a backup plan in case your betta decides to go on the rampage. Fish are individuals, and you might get one that's just mean. My Molly shouldn't have had any compatibility issues with a Siamese algae eater, but for whatever reason he hated it. If one day I decide to move Jeremy to the 65 and he wants to be the next UFC champ, I'll just net him out and move him back to his vase. If you don't have a backup plan, then some safe suggestions for tank mates with a betta are neon tetras, harlequin rasboras, white cloud mountain minnows, and the Corridora catfish. All of these are schooling fish, so you're going to need an aquarium large enough for about 6 of them. You could also try Plecostomus to help with algae control. Bristlenose and rubber-lip pleco stay somewhat small. Stay away from the common pleco unless you have a massive aquarium. If you want to keep other fish with your betta, then I wouldn't suggest an aquarium smaller than 10 gallons. There are options for smaller aquariums though. You can get a snail. I suggest a nerite or a mystery snail, like Jeremy's friend.
You can also try shrimp. Amano shrimp are big enough that a betta probably won't eat them, but smaller shrimp might get snacked on. Betta fish are predatory and they will hunt. Alright, at the beginning of the video, you might have seen some legal type stuff. I read that reviewing the music that you're using in your video will qualify you for fair use and it'll protect you from copyright laws. I'm going to give it a try.
Pearl Jam's album 10 came out in the late summer of 1991. It's Pearl Jam's first album and a classic. The album features the hit singles Alive, Even Flow, and of course Jeremy. Eddie Vedder is arguably the best songwriter of the four commercially successful bands to come out of Seattle during that era. As an added bonus, he's the only one that's still alive. The song Jeremy tells the tragic story of a boy who commits suicide in front of his class. It's a haunting but well put together song based on true events that Eddie Vedder had read about in a newspaper. Admittedly, I'm not a very big Pearl Jam fan, but I don't mind the occasional song. 10 is a solid album, so I give it 5 rummy nose tetras out of a school of 7 on the tetra scale. Like many people, my first fish was a betta. They are what got me into the hobby. They're beautiful and pretty easy to care for. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Good night, everyone.